2 years later, no, let's do like that. 2 years later, 20. 3, 2, I'm not good at doing that, so I won't do that anymore. 1 liter, 2 years later, 20 kilograms lighter, and with a 1 liter larger engine, we're back here in the lahar beds of Pampanga, this time with the Ford Ranger Raptor V6. And just to get it out of the way, since this is almost basically the same as the turbo diesel, let's talk about the exterior. So everything, as you can see, is the same. So we have the C-clamp LED headlights over here, matrix LED with 2 projectors, so one for the low beam and one for the high beam. And we have the signature Raptor grille over here with the FORD lettering. Looks very tough, looks very brute. I really like that. And also you'll notice that right here, there's a little gap for the bumper. So that's actually to protect the vehicle so that when you're bouncing around, off-roading, having all the fun you want to have in the world, it's all safe. No damages will happen right there. And then down here, we have a metal skid plate. So you can hear that it's metal. It's so that you can protect your underbody very well. On the side, we have the wider fender flares, and right here, the same 17-inch alloy wheels with the gray finish wrapped in all-terrain BF Goodrich tires, and we don't get the beadlock capable wheels that you can get in other markets. But seriously, serious off-roaders will not really need it because they're gonna change these wheels anyway. Then other stuff right here, we have our very big running board, we have our huge side mirror, and back here, the Raptor sticker. And we're now inside the Ranger Raptor V6. And at first look, there is nothing different here. It's exactly the same as the turbo diesel version. We have the same 12-inch screen here, 12.3-inch infotainment, and the same code orange color scheme and black inside this car. So leather seats, suede, everything is the same except for a few things. So we do have first a Bang & Olufsen sound system. So you can see the logo right there. We have a speaker here on top of the dashboard. So that sounds great once you get to experience it. Then we also have an additional button here for auto start stop. So we'll talk about that later once we get on the road. Then the rest here's really same stuff, everything. So soft touch materials here for the cover of that storage space. Soft touch here in the door panel, very soft. And leather here as well. Then lots of hard touch plastic, but that's fine. Steering wheel, the Raptor steering wheel with the Raptor logo over there on center marker, and our paddle shifters as well. Everything else here is the same as the regular Raptor, and that's also how it goes at the back seat because same space, same seats, same features. So just like the turbo diesel Raptor, we have an electronic gear selector right here. So it looks like a traditional shifter, but it is definitely electronic. So actually, when you turn off the truck, it will go back to park on its own, as you can see right there. Then also we have here our 4x4 selector. So 4 high, 2 high, 4 low, and 4 automatic. And then we also have our drive modes here. So just turn that and you can select between your different drive modes. And up here, our auxiliary switches. So if you want to feel like a pilot sometimes, yeah, that's the switch over. Seatbelt sign on. Anyway, you can connect various accessories that you might want to add through these buttons. So no need to add some unsightly, ugly button somewhere here in the dashboard at least. So that one is also a nice feature. And back here, black Raptor badging, the black Ford emblem, and the biggest change you will find in the exterior of the Ranger Raptor V6. And the only thing that will tell you that this is the Ranger Raptor V6 are the exhausts. So we have dual exhausts in this truck, and they also sound much better. It's a very Raptor sound, may I say. So take a listen. So apologies for my hair. It's really windy. Can't do anything about that. But anyway, that sounded great, right? And next to those exhausts are some recovery hooks in case you get stuck if you're not so good. Well, no, just kidding. Anyway, moving on. So open the tailgate. This is very easy because it is assisted. So, well, it dropped, but yeah, it's very easy to lift up. Anyway, standard bed liner. We have some bed lights as well, and it's just your usual bed in any Ford Ranger and pretty much any pickup as well. And then here on the side, we do have a 220 volt power outlet, which will make it better for going on an adventure like camping or something. So yeah, that's it here on the outside, and I guess we can now take this out on a drive to see how much better this is. Okay, so we're now driving the Ranger Raptor V6, and this is my first time with this truck. I've only driven the turbo diesel before, like I already mentioned. But anyway, let's talk about the biggest change of this truck, because while the exterior and interior are largely the same as the diesel, it's the engine that is really different here. So we have a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 engine, gasoline engine that produces almost twice the horsepower and a little bit more torque. So that's 397 horsepower and 583 Newton meters of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic. So as you can see right now, we are at the lahar beds of Pampanga. So, let's just have a little bit of driving here, just for a little comparison with the diesel. So initially, what you will notice is that the exhaust, like I showed you earlier, it sounds great. So we are using Baja mode right now. You can really hear that exhaust. It doesn't sound like it's just a V6 engine. It sounds like a bigger engine. And then another thing about this is the suspension. So we have the live valve shock absorbers from Fox. It just feels so much better. So we have some adjustments here in the steering wheel. So just press the button here and you can choose between normal, sport, and off-road for the damper. So in sport mode, it feels almost like normal. So most likely this one is designed for on-road use. But if you do put it on off-road, it feels much softer. It feels more capable as well when we are taking all these, ruts and the bumps here in this area. This is what the Raptor should really be like. It just feels so good doing this. You won't feel scared while driving here. So this one feels a lot like the previous generation Ranger Raptor, but at the same time has the firmness that we saw in the turbo diesel, which just makes it a perfect vehicle when it comes to ride quality. And you can also feel that mostly here off-road, of course, because that's really designed for this. And while most people will be taking this on hardcore off-road, you can really appreciate it while going higher speeds. Currently we're driving on sand mode. Let's have a little bit of fun. And really the Ranger Raptor will not disappoint you. You won't be scared at all. It's very confidence inspiring when you are taking any kind of terrain, especially the ones here in the lahar beds, like going through the water, the river crossings. It's not scary at all, and you know that you will make it through. And yeah, as you can see, everything is good. Of course, you should know what you're doing, but yeah, everything is good when it comes to that. Now, on this unpaved road, this is where you can feel that the suspension of the Ranger Raptor V6 really shines. So unlike the turbo diesel, again, which is quite stiffer, firmer, this one is much softer, but at the same time, it's not bouncy, which is really something to appreciate when it comes to vehicles with softer rides these days. So most would have a very soft ride and a very bouncy experience at the same time. But this one, it's very well behaved. You won't get your passengers feeling dizzy. And let's ask my passenger, are you dizzy? No? Okay, good. He's not dizzy at all. And this will even translate better when it comes to very badly paved roads, old roads, potholes, because just like here on an unpaved road, it will be very well behaved. Now that we're on paved roads, we can finally appreciate how most Ranger Raptors will be driven. Ride quality, again, is excellent. So the road is really smooth, and that gives us a really smooth ride, of course, because if on off-road, on unpaved roads, it's already very well behaved. What more here on this kind of asphalt, properly paved new road, right? And despite there being quite some road imperfections here, so undulations, it's kind of wavy a bit, you don't feel it here in the Ranger Raptor V6. Thanks again to that suspension. I think in the turbo diesel way back, you would feel those, but now you won't feel them in the V6 thanks to the suspension settings. So currently we're on normal mode, so let's try sport this time. So the road now is quite bumpy. Well, yeah, there's really not much a difference between normal and sport, but that's fine. So I guess a sport should be just a little bit stiffer or a little bit more firm compared to normal mode. And off-road, again, gives us a very soft ride. Then now we can talk about the way this steers. So steering feel is actually one thing that I really appreciate in this Ranger Raptor compared to both the turbo diesel and the previous generation. For one thing, we now have those steering modes which I mentioned earlier. So we have again normal, comfort, and sport. So comfort mode is obviously perfect for driving inside the city, tighter streets. So that gives us very lightweight, which is definitely perfect for a vehicle this size when it comes to narrower areas. And normal mode is just normal. So it's just a perfect balance of some weight and lightness for those who prefer, a little bit more heft to it. Then of course, sport mode, which gives us a lot of weight, which I personally prefer compared to any other light steering. And the great thing about the steering of this Ranger Raptor V6 is that regardless of what mode you use, you have loads of feedback coming from this. So, you always feel confident about where you're going, the way you're steering. And then the best part is handling as well. Despite being a tall pickup truck, it remains very planted on the road. So body roll, obviously it's there, but you won't really feel that much of it compared to its rivals. And when you're switching lanes, having a little bit of play, it just feels very behaved as well, just like the suspension. So it stays very planted as well. It's like what you would feel usually in a smaller crossover or sedan, like those from, let's say, Mazda or even Honda. So it kind of feels that way thanks to probably the wider track as well, which gives us a lower center of gravity as well. So again, that new V6 engine is really what we wanted to find in the Ranger Raptor compared to the bi-turbo diesel. And it is God sent because it's just really what the Ranger Raptor needed. So put your foot down and it gives you instant response. It's very fun, it sounds great, and it just feels so good. So we have the twin turbos, we have the double horsepower compared to the turbo diesel. You can feel that all here, although you won't be needing it all the time, but it's just nice to have it over there, especially when you're on an open road. Then again, you heard the exhaust earlier as well. So quiet mode, it's a very quiet place to be in. Obviously, with a normal mode, you have a little bit more growl to it. Then put it in sport mode, and it's like being in a sports car. But yeah, so sounds good. Hope you can hear it. But the best part is when you put it in Baja. Although, disclaimer, it's only for off-road use. The road we're on now is open. We're the only car here right now, so it's okay for us to make some noise, I guess. So let's put our foot down and I definitely like what I hear. But of course, we're not that kind of bad person, so let's make it sport mode just to be a bit more normal. And again, regardless of, it sounds great. That's all we can say about it. And with the new engine, lots of people will probably be asking, how's the fuel economy, if it even matters to people who buy this? So obviously, compared to the diesel, we don't get as much fuel savings because V6 engine with twin turbos and it's gasoline powered. So inside the city, we're able to get around 5 kilometers per liter. And on the highway, we're able to get about 11 kilometers per liter. And I guess that's fine for a V6 engine. I'm pretty sure other V6 engines are similar. The Ford Bronco, if I remember correctly, did a little bit better than this. And before we end, let's talk about advanced driver assist system. So just like the turbo diesel, this is fully equipped with Ford's Copilot 360 systems. We have everything that you need when it comes to advanced safety. And like what we have seen in other Ford products, they all work pretty well. So you won't have any trouble trusting these systems in the Ranger Raptor V6. And to end this review, what I have to say about the Ranger Raptor V6 compared to turbo diesel and in general, and like what I already mentioned earlier, this is what the Ranger Raptor should have been from the very start of its arrival here in the Philippines, at least this generation. It's perfectly set apart compared to the Ranger Wildtrak. It has the features, it has the different engine. It's just really so much better than the turbo diesel. The asking price is much more as well, 2.739 million pesos. But at the same time, it's all worth it if you consider everything. Very well set apart. It's very different. It's not like any other pickup truck you can get in the market. Granted that not everybody needs what this offers, but you know, it's just fun to have all of those. It's just a great feeling.